Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Glow Up Seekers podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. Hello and happy Sunday. We have made it to the last Sunday of the month. I can't believe it. I hope everyone's summer has been good so far. Hopefully we have some more plans. I have some as well, which I'm going to talk about at the end of this episode. Some things that we're going to be planning for the podcast and some updates. So if you're interested in that, it'll be at the end. Now, today's episode is kind of going to be just like off the whim here because during this week, I didn't really have anything to give for the podcast. Like, there's nothing I really wanted to talk about. There's nothing heavy on my heart. There was nothing I was really like going through that was like so impactful or I wanted to share with you guys, things like that. And I've changed my relationship towards when I'm feeling like I have nothing to give. It's okay that I have nothing to give sometimes. Sometimes life happens and things get really busy for me. So maybe I'll skip an episode here and there. But there's something in me that didn't want to skip an episode, but I also did not know what to talk about. And this is clearly a theme that I'm currently experiencing for many reasons, and it's amazing to be able to bring this to the podcast because I think that some of you guys will relate to this. But during this week, I was feeling like nothing really to give. But then I knew, okay, you know what? It's fine. Like, let's just sit on it. Maybe something will come up. Usually that's what happens, and that's how I create a lot of my episodes anyways. So I wasn't like stressing out too much about it. But also, as you guys know, I've been working on a journal series. That's basically what it's going to be. And so I did a lot of basically like the first phase of working on it. And I've come to an end on the first phase in a way. And so I felt myself being like, okay, like what's the next step? Like what's the next thing? Like where do I go next? How do I take more action? But there was nothing really coming up with that as well. So I felt like the past like week and a half, I kind of came to an ending of things and I felt myself feeling the urge to want to know the next step, the next answer, like to go. And also, I am literally just about to get my period. Like I'm basically day one of my period. And so my hormonal clock is literally coming to an end and I'm restarting. And I feel this sense of kind of not wanting to even do anything, like not wanting to take action on anything. And that's typically like what will happen at the end of my luteal phase into my menstrual phase. So I feel like there's just this nothingness that I've been residing in. And what I came to realize in my morning practice was sometimes the best next step is to just do nothing. And the reason why I'm saying this is, you know, sometimes, yes, we need to take action and move things forward. But I look at this very cyclically as well, like the way my body is, but also nature and life. But with anything, sometimes there'll be an ending of something. And before you start the new thing, you need to create space for you to not know the next step or to reside in that nothingness, that blank space, that presence really. And I think that presence is very, very vital for you to then figure out what that next step will be. Or for instance, with my menstrual cycle, this is the most important time for me to really slow things down, right? And take a moment for myself, maybe focus on self-care, whatever the case is. But I have a lot of clarity during this time that really allows me to see what my next month will kind of be, and also for me to reflect on the past month as well. And that is so vital for personal growth and just life in general. And I think sometimes we can get really stuck or feel really stuck or create more anxiety or scarcity within our own lives simply by not understanding that this should really be a part of our life process, whether it's creative or hormonal, whatever it is, to understand that there's going to be a period where it's okay and it should be allowed for us to kind of not know an answer. And I truly think that you accepting that fact and you being a little bit more comfortable with not forcing anything right now, or if you don't have an answer for something, or you don't know the next step, or you don't know what to say, that it's okay to create space for that. That's when clarity for the next thing will actually come as well. And so that's what I was kind of doing this past week and a half. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about. Same with my menstrual phase. Yesterday, I kind of like felt intuitively like I wanted to have like a quote unquote do nothing day. And when it comes to knowing that I need to rest and feeling that urge to rest, what I have experienced in the past is not being able to actually rest unless everything is done. But what I've learned is there is always going to be something to do, like something on your to-do list. So if you're waiting for the day that you don't have things to do in order to rest, that, in my personal opinion, is not the right way to rest. There's no real right way to rest, obviously, but the reason why I'm saying that is sometimes, let's say when you're about to get your period, that's the best time to rest for yourself. And intuitively, you'll know, like you sometimes have a feeling of when it's time to just end something or to just rest, or you just don't have the answer or you don't know. And that's a perfect time to rest. But sometimes we only allow ourselves to rest when, okay, I'm going to get all these things done. And on this day is when I'm going to rest, or like every Friday at this time I'm going to rest, which that can be great. And that can be helpful for people who are working on burnout and productivity and things like that. But there's gonna have to be some room for the messiness of the resting in your life, which is those days where your soul is calling for something different that day and you're really wanting to move something forward, but nothing is really coming. Like that is the time where you really need to allow yourself to not know. And now in a perfect world, we could just rest whenever we want and release all responsibilities, but that's in a perfect world. And sometimes we don't live in a perfect world. So even for myself, there's still things that I do, you know, like the actual act of making sure that I'm taking care of myself, or eating nourishing meals, or if I need to answer an email or, you know, record a video, things like that. But within my day or within the phase that I'm feeling like it's time for me to rest, I just put off the things that I'm really just forcing myself to do and reminding myself that I will come back to this when I feel good and ready, when I feel more revived, when I feel like there's something to speak on or an idea that's going to pop back in my head. And when I allow myself to move more into this nothingness of, you know what, I don't got an answer, I don't really know yet, it actually just allows me to do other things that I have either put off or things that I want to explore that I haven't really put my attention to because I've been in this go, go, go energy. So maybe it's just like a new topic that's really sparking my interest that month. Like for instance, right now, I've been really learning about a lot of herbalism for canines. I have a dog, if anyone is new, and he's sleeping on me right now. So we're just going to hope that he's going to stay sleeping. Anyways, I listened to a really good podcast on What's the Juice podcast with Olivia, and she had a canine herbalist. She is also in the like vet world and like a bunch of other things. And I'm really into like holistic health and wellness and things like that. So I listened to that episode and I ended up buying the herbalist book. And so I'm really just interested in that topic right now and like learning more about my dog, and everything really makes sense for me when I'm learning about this stuff. And so I spent a lot of time reading up on this topic. I've also been having a really big pull to listen to more spiritual podcasts, reading my books that are more spiritual and things like that as well. So I'm just kind of following my intuition when it comes to that and letting go of like what I think that I need to be focusing on or doing during this time. Something else that I find myself doing a lot when I release this urge to need to have things go a certain way or I need to know answers is that I have this motivation all of a sudden to do a bunch of things on my to-do list that I've been putting off all month because I'm kind of in this flow state of like, I'm just going to do whatever I want today. And like, it almost feels a little bit like a game, like a little bit like life is just not as serious as I'm making it be, which makes sense because I'm really in this energy of it not being serious when I'm not forcing things. And so I'll do some of the things that in my head I put on my to-do list that sounded and felt like it was so big and annoying and it's going to be this huge thing. And I just don't, whatever, like I'll do it. Like things like bookkeeping, or I have to get my passport copies for something, for American taxes and all of these things. I typically will find myself having no blocks to do even those things. So I'm just saying all that because I think there's a lot of benefit of you allowing yourself the space to be like, I don't know, what to do right now, and I'm not going to force it as much as I can. And there is wisdom always in doing that. And actually this morning, as I told you guys, I've been reading some of my spiritual books again, and I came back to reading The Mystic Jesus, The Mind of Love by Marianne Williamson. I love her work. Please go listen to her podcasts, go get her books. A Return to Love is a really good place to start as well. And I'll have my book recommendations linked down below in like the description. I have a lot of books that I read or have read in the past. And so there was this chapter on morning routines, the power of morning routines, or like the power of your morning essentially, and connecting to God and praying or meditation, or even if you're not like religious or believe in God, just like connecting with yourself and things like that. And I've talked about this in, I don't know if it was last week's episode, but I've been telling you guys just how much clarity and work that I've been actually getting out by simply really making a morning practice a huge important piece of my day. And I usually do, but like really just diving back into that. And so I was reading a chapter of the morning section, and I kind of want to tell you what I was journaling when I read a certain part. I'm not going to read the entire section, but a part of it says, as part of your daily spiritual practice, this morning prayer from A Course in Miracles is a powerful directive for your subconscious mind to do the bidding of the Holy Spirit. And she writes out 3 things that you could ask God or Spirit or whatever you believe in. And it says, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? And what would you have me say, and to whom? And so I used one of those and wrote down, I basically was like asking God. And I just picked the one that felt the most intuitive. And I asked, what would you have me do? And what came up was really what I was experiencing with the not knowing, not having too much of an answer, of idea, even for the podcast, like a bunch of things, right? The ending of the phase 1 of my journal series, like very much so really urging and wanting to go in that direction of stressing about not knowing and forcing answers. But I'm very wise. Like I know this cycle, I know what it is, and I'm more comfortable with like chilling in that. So I basically wanted to know the wisest part of Spirit. What would you have to strengthen my belief in already kind of knowing what is true? Because I already kind of know this. And basically what I got was God would want me to release the fear that I'm holding. And this is what it really is coming down to. When you realize, oh, I don't have an answer. I don't know where to go. It's coming from a place of fear. And God said, I want you to release that fear. I want you to remember that I give you the opportunity to wake up every single day and have all of these blessings. I give you opportunities. I give you time. I give you freedom. I give you your mindset to be able to seek out new information and wisdom. I give you so many things, and you're operating as if I don't give you those blessings, but also you don't see it. You forget that I give you this. You forget that you have this life that is full of opportunities and full of blessings, and that you are safe. And so that's what I got out of my journal practice. And it's just a reminder, like, you know, I am okay, and I will find the answers, and I do have so many blessings and resources and all of these things around me. And I have to remember that. And I really have to stop operating out of this place of not having that, because that's not true. I am not unsafe. I am very blessed. I am protected, and I do have time. And I think that that's another thing that we really struggle with when we're forcing answers or trying to find the next thing, is we are under this illusion that we have no time, that we have to rush, we have to keep going. And that's really an illusion. It's all coming from fear. And I really do think when you connect to something like Spirit, God, whatever, it can really, really help you during the times where you feel anxiety, you feel like you're rushing through life, you feel like you are in fight or flight. It can really, really help ground you. And I think that's why it's important to have a morning practice as well. And actually, one last thing that I'm going to read from this book, it's from chapter 2, Reflections of the Light. And it says, people can have an almost pathological need to make something of themselves, as though who they already are simply isn't enough. To the ego, you will never be enough. It doesn't tell you that you did something wrong. It just tells you that you are wrong. Few of us, no matter how kind our parents or how healthy our upbringing, survive into adulthood without an arsenal of rockets in our head shouting us down before anyone else has a chance to. That's why knowing who you are spiritually is essential to a healthy sense of self. If we only accept the world's estimation, then we'll never feel like we're enough, because the world is dominated by the ego's vicious nonsense. If we accept ourselves as God created us, we recognize we're no better and no worse than anyone else. All of us are special and none of us are special. At the deepest level of our spiritual identity, all of us are perfect creations of God. And this actually moves into the morning practice as well. So I think that basically she was kind of setting it up to say, like, it's really important that you do connect to something bigger than the lies and the fears that we typically operate out of in the morning, so that you can move through this life with less fear and less urgency. Because we know where fear and urgency really takes us. We know that it takes us into scarcity and taking action that is not even aligned. We burn ourselves out. We feel unhappy. We feel depleted, and we can't operate like that. And the only way that you're going to be able to operate the opposite way is for you to slowly start having the practice and calming your nervous system and connecting to yourself and reminding yourself, I am safe. I have these blessings. I have these resources. I have time. But you don't operate naturally out of that because you've been programmed from society, from parents, from everything. It doesn't even matter how good or bad your upbringing was. Like, most likely you're programmed in your head to keep going and going and going and seeking and operating out of fear. And that's why a lot of us who are interested in self-development as well get stuck in this loop, because we are the ones who are operating out of fear the most, because we've typically have gone through a lot of trauma, which has created this sense of I need to find safety and find control, which is understandable. We're just trying to stay safe, but in doing that, we typically will create more unsafety in the sense of burning ourselves out and staying in that fight or flight. So I just wanted to really share that with you guys. That's kind of where I'm at in my life, and hopefully that will help. And that's really on that topic, but I just wanted to quickly talk about like a few other things that will be happening. So podcast updates. I feel like I haven't said anything about like updates or my life or anything like that in a very long time, because I don't know, we moved from doing like off-topic episodes and stuff. I know like a lot of you guys like those episodes where I'm just chit-chatting, but anyways, I guess this can kind of be it. Next week, which will be August 3rd, I'm going to skip an episode. And that's because August, guys, is going to be busy for me, but I'm excited. So the week following this episode that's coming out, I'm going to Rufus du Sol with my boyfriend. So that will be really fun. I'm going with Liquid IV. They sent me to Tate last year, which was just such another like blessing. And I'm so happy about that. So that will be really fun. Going to a concert. I love concerts and I love festivals and even house music. Like, I love all types of music. And so we're going to be doing that during the week. And with that, I'm actually going to be getting my hair braided, which you guys will see eventually the day before that. So that's going to be like another full day. And then the day after Rufus, I just want to chill, obviously. And then I'm prepping into a long weekend. I don't know if it's like this in America or other places. I don't think so, but we have a long weekend coming up like every year, basically the first weekend of August. And so we're moving right into that long weekend. So it's just going to be long weekend vibes. I have a lot of plans with people, friends that are coming in. And then we're doing day 3 of Veld. I love Veld. I've basically gone like every year, but as I get older, I typically just go like one day. I go like half the day, like into the night type of thing, because I just can't be doing a super long festival unless I was going to like Rolling Loud or EDC or Ultra and it was like a whole trip. But Veld in the city, I live downtown Toronto. I just kind of pop in and pop out. So anyways, we're going mainly because John Summit's going to be performing and he is so good. I saw him last year at Budweiser and he's just so good, guys. Okay? If you like house, then he is the DJ for you. So I'm going to be going with a bunch of friends. So that's going to be that weekend. So I just kind of want to have a week to prepare and do all that kind of stuff. And then we'll be back to regular episodes after that. But I'm also going to be going to a cottage the weekend after. And then I have a weekend in between, which I'm sure I'm going to have lots of plans for that. And then I'm going to another cottage with my set of friends. The first cottage is with my boyfriend's set of friends. So lots of things going on. So August is going to be busy. I'm going to try and do my best to get out episodes. I know you guys will also understand as well. And I hope that you guys are living your best lives as well. And it's not all about like self-development and things like that. Although I do know that even having like one episode a week, just getting your mind right is important, because I think balance is important. I live a balanced life every week. I'm working on my mental health. I am doing the things that I need to do for work. I am going to the gym, eating right, but then I'm also like on the weekends, I'm seeing my boyfriend, I'm seeing my friends, we're going out, we're doing these things, blah, blah, blah. So that's what's happening. But I wanted to ask you guys, and you can leave this on the Spotify like comment section. Unfortunately, Apple doesn't have it, I don't think. And then of course, if you're watching on YouTube, you can just leave it in the comment section. What topics are you wanting to hear more of for basically like the fall time? And I know, listen, I'm getting a little too like ahead of myself with the fall thing, but I'm not really, especially when I'm planning content. But, you know, August is going to go quickly, and then we get into September and like October, November, things like that. Now, what I'm hoping to do is I want to talk a lot more about relationships, more so like in September, like moving into the end of September, things like that. So if you have any topics when it comes to relationships, please let me know in the comments, whether it's dating, how to be in like a healthy relationship, lessons that I've learned. I kind of want to talk about some of the like the healthy, secure attachment things that I have learned, that I have worked through. Even when it comes to dating, like the mindsets that I've used when it comes to dating as well. I'm obviously in a relationship now, but like when I was, you know, dating and what to look out for, everything. Also like trusting men, letting your guard down. Like there's so much that I could go into when it comes to relationships. So I feel like a call to really breaking some of those really important healthy lessons, because I feel like the dating advice in this day and age, and honestly, it's kind of more so like the short form, like TikTok and even Reels and stuff like that. It's very just like black and white. And I just think that relationships, like healthy, lasting relationships, people who are in marriages, like they have the wisdom, in my personal opinion, and also real healthy relationships, they're not talked about enough, I don't think. Like I feel like, anyways, I digress. So if you're interested in anything to do with relationships, please let me know in the comments or wherever you want to leave it. And then also, I kind of want to talk about approaching 30, because my birthday is November 5th. And so I'll be turning 30. And there's a few conversations I kind of want to have on that as well. Like definitely lessons that I've learned moving up to being 30, the wisdom of life essentially, but things also like aging. I feel like it's such a big topic, and women are so scared of aging. And I am like so opposite of that. And also, even when it comes to getting to like your biological clock, I think that there's so much misinformation about women's biological clocks and the aging. And oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to have kids. I'm even like approaching 26, 27. I need to have kids now because I'm not going to be able to have kids when I'm 30, this, that, which is so misinformed. So I really want to have some of those conversations as well, and just the aging process and marriage and things like that. So please let me know if you're interested in any of those topics as well. I would love to kind of talk about that. And of course, things will change and come up. If you've been watching for a long time, you know I basically create out of a place of what I'm experiencing as well, right? Like this episode right now. So there might be episodes in between where I'm talking about something completely different. Eventually, I'll be introducing my journal series as well, which probably after the chaos of August hits and comes and goes, beautiful chaos. I'll talk more about that as well, which will be, I think, a very beautiful piece of work that I'll be putting out for those who really want to dive more into having a journal practice and getting their minds right. I also will be doing a collaboration for 4 episodes in the end of September with a brand. And this is big for me because I've been waiting for a collaboration that felt right to me. And I was willing to say no to a lot of brand collaborations, specifically on the podcast, because it's a little different than my YouTube channel and like even Instagram and things like that. So that will be really exciting for me, because I just feel like I've worked really hard when it comes to the podcast to get something that felt very aligned in many aspects. So that will be really exciting, and hopefully down the line I will be able to lock in a few more partnerships that are more long term. But that will be something that happens in the end of September. And yeah, I think that's really it. I just kind of wanted to give you guys some updates on what's been going on, but of course I want to hear your guys' feedback. And Theo is up if you're watching on YouTube. He's not reverse sneezing as much anymore, by the way, guys. I also stopped giving him the Benadryl because I felt like it didn't even really work, and I really don't even want to be giving him Benadryl because I feel like this cute puppy doesn't need to be taking that, but he's doing a lot better. And if anyone is new, he's 7 months, Italian Greyhound, changed my life for the better. He really has changed my life in so many ways, and I can't wait to just keep learning more about him and dogs in general and things like that. So with that said, I think that's it. I just also want to say shout out to anyone who reaches out on DMs, sends me love or comments. Like, you guys are just the best audience ever. And honestly, like, we're doing it together. I always like try and remind you guys that I'm here doing the work, showing up with you guys. And, you know, it's not possible without you guys showing up. And also, I need you to know that when you show up and you listen to the podcast and you're committing to yourself and your self-growth, not only does that fuel me, but it fuels other people. Because when you're fueling me and you're showing up with me, then I'm able to show up for other people that you might never even meet in your lifetime. But you're also healing and collectively helping other people all around the world. So I want you to always remind yourself of that when you feel like you're alone, when you feel like, why am I doing this? Does it matter? Everyone around me is not, working on themselves, things like that, which can be very typical for people who are working on themselves because not everyone is awake the way that we are. But just understand that you are making a huge impact simply by showing up for yourself. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Book recommendations will be down below. My book will be linked down below. Any other things that you guys need will be linked. And if not, you can comment and let me know. And I'll see you guys not next week, but the week after that. Bye.